Even if you don't support it, you can't ignore it. Even if you had an army on your side, destroy it. We not ready.
Israel united in Christ. We are not a hate group. We are not. Israel united in Christ. We are not a hate group. We are not affiliated with any other Israelite group. Israel united in Christ is a nonviolent Bible-based movement. We do not advocate or condone any acts of violence against any race, ethnicity, or gender. We advise that if anyone hears or knows of any plots to cause harm to anyone or to break the laws of the land, you must contact the proper authorities to bring awareness to any possible threat as stated in Leviticus chapter 5 and verse 1.
Hey, Shalom Israel, Most High in Christ bless. Welcome to another edition of Precept Upon Precept Late Show. We're your hosts. My name is Captain Shem.
Officer Micah.
Officer Mikael.
Officer Solomon.
All praise to the Most High. So like we do, actually before we start the show, if you can, Officer Micah, listen, we got missions going on damn near every single month throughout the world, traveling to all, damn near every continent, okay, on the planet Earth. You're going to find Israel United Christ putting work. And the reason why we do that is because of the spirit that God puts upon you, faithful brothers and sisters. Scriptures say, to whom much is given, much is required. And that also deals with money. Those of you who may have worked your whole life and are doing well for yourself, perhaps maybe are even affluent. Well, you know, the scriptures say that the Lord loveth a cheerful giver. So if you have a certain amount of money, the Lord knows what you can do. So help us travel the world. Help IUIC push this truth. So we appreciate y'all and thank all of y'all. All right, without further ado, we're going to start the first segment with Officer Micah and the Watchman Report.
Hey, Shalom Israel, Most High in Christ bless. Most High in Christ bless. Not going to hold up the show. We got a good show planned for you all tonight. Let's get into the articles. Christian priest crucified in U.S. Suspect confesses he had 14 more on his list. It's Christianity. That's what they breed right there. House passes big, beautiful bill, sending it to Trump in 218 to 214 vote. Yeah, y'all, I'm telling you, they put a hurting on us. Iran assesses the damage and lashes out after Israeli and U.S. strikes damage its nuclear sites. I thought they had a ceasefire. Nevertheless, next article. Drive-by shooting kills 4 and wounds 14 others after a party at a Chicago restaurant. It's picking back up already. That spirit. 7 missing after explosion at Northern California's fireworks warehouse sets off massive fire. You'd think they learned something about freaking fireworks. A tropical or subtropical depression could form near Florida or off southeast coast over holiday weekend. And this concludes the Watchman Report.
Tonight's show is the big, beautiful bill and bunker busting bombs. As you can see, Trump sitting at his desk, signing that big, beautiful bill to further oppress the children of Israel. And we also see the bunker busting bombs being dropped by the B-2 bombers. Also in the background, you got the news media going crazy. You got the news media going crazy in the background, and it's all prophetic. It's all prophetic.
Sir, and what you're going to see tonight is a lot has happened. You know that when Iran was bombed by the nuclear facilities, by that that bomb, that multiple bombs that were supposed to be break apart their underground nuclear facilities. And actually, when we found out, it was minimal damage caused at best. So tonight, we're going to get into this bill and also about what's going on in Iran and how is Iran preparing for its counterstrike. Okay, pull up the first. I think it's an article, the first one, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so this, get right into it. This is Al Jazeera. Okay, and there may be a video. I don't know if the video is going to be able to be played. If I think this is the video, the words just correspond with the video. Can we play it? If not, we'll read.
Yeas are 218, the nays are 2.
Let's play the video instead.
214. The motion is adopted.
Donald Trump's budget squeaked through. As a result, the president's aspiration of signing it into law on July the 4th, U.S. Independence Day, will be fulfilled.
I think when you go over the bill, it was very easy to get him to a yes. You know, we went over that bill, and point after point, biggest tax cut in history, great for security, great on the southern border, immigration is covered. We covered just about everything. Again, it's the biggest bill ever signed of its kind.
There had been uncertainty as to whether the president had the votes until the early hours of Wednesday morning. Some Republicans had voiced opposition to the estimated $3.4 trillion the bill will add to the U.S. deficit over the next 10 years. Others to the cuts to the social safety net. The Congressional Budget Office says some 12 million will lose health care by the end of the decade. The White House disputes those numbers. But, as has happened so often in the past, almost all Republican opposition folded when it came time to actually vote, with just 2 Republicans voting against. Tens of billions of dollars are allocated to build the U.S.-Mexico border.
Look up this real quick, brothers. Look up what is the numbers in the Congress and the Senate. What is the Republican numbers in the Congress and the Senate? Because when you recall, we covered up until the elections of November that when you look, we showed a map where almost all the states by county, the whole map was red. And so now, as a result of that, you have the House of the Congress and the Senate are majority Republican. This is why Trump is able to push things through. Even if there's a Republican that has something to say about it, guess what? They're going to eventually, like they said, they're going to fold because of political. Trump has got power. Trump, matter of fact, just sued, I think, CBS. Do me a favor, type in Trump wins lawsuit CBS. It just happened. I think he won $16 million. Did y'all hear about that? Type that in real quick. It just came to me. I want to go back to that video. Trump has power. Was it $60 million? No, $16 million. Okay. Read that. Read that for everybody.
Yes, Paramount Global, the parent company of CBS News, has settled a lawsuit with President Trump for $16 million.
That means he was asking for a lot more than $16 million. If you settle out of court for $16 million, because they basically lied on Donald Trump, showing you the power that he has. So, of course, if he has ability, wants to introduce, you think that he can't do the same thing with political pressure to a Republican to end their career. So he's got the power in, this is it right here. Yes. Yeah. AI is undefeated.
As of July 3rd, 2025, the Republican Party holds the majority in both the House of Representatives and the Senate.
So by 7 additional, they have majority. And what is the Senate? The Senate, they have 6 more. That is a sizable. So even if they had, let's say, for example, 2 or 3 Republicans that did not vote and they were rogue Republicans, they can still win both the Republicans, the Senate, and the House of Representatives. Okay, scroll up real quick. Let me see something. Okay. All right, that's good. Just keep that in mind as we go through the show. All right, let's go back to the video. Thank you for the sidetrack for that.
border wall, increase detention facilities, and make immigration and customs enforcement the highest funded federal law enforcement agency in U.S. history. And the tax cuts Donald Trump passed in his first term that disproportionately favor the wealthy are made permanent. All Democrats voted against the bill, but despite their opposition, they do seem gleeful about running on this budget in next year's midterm elections. Their message has already been honed. Trump is giving tax cuts to the rich while taking from the poor.
Mr. Speaker, this is extraordinary. This assault on everyday Americans, assault on children, veterans, seniors, people with disabilities. It's incredible to me. All of this in this one big ugly bill.
Take your time.
Ripping food away from children, literally.
All right, just to show
Ripping
you,
food out of the
this
mouths
bill
of
has got
hungry.
the Republicans and the Democrats completely divided to the point where, and it's the thing, Black Americans, Puerto Ricans, and Dominicans, actually Puerto Ricans is more Republican, they are on the side of Democrats. That's when you look up there, you see Maxine Waters and other political figures. They are with the Democratic Party. Okay, that's what our people have been a part of for decades and decades. Now, this is the same walkway. Watch what Trump says. I think he's talking about Iran real quick, just changing gears. Watch what he says about Iran. This is very interesting.
Iran.
Yeah, brothers, please jump in.
I think
Yeah,
they'd like to speak to me.
we're just getting into it, but if you see something, bring it out. Okay.
Iran does want to speak.
Yeah, you got to turn the volume up.
I think they'd like to speak to me, and it's time that they do. We're not
Start
looking to hurt them.
again, please.
Iran does want to speak, and I think they'd like to speak to me, and it's time that they do. We're not looking to hurt them. We're looking to
Pause.
let them be.
Get where's it say when he was a smooth words, but war was in his heart. I want you to think about that. They're responsible for dropping bunker buster bombs last week in attempts to destroy any nuclear capacity. And he just said, and I quote, "We're not trying to hurt them or anything." Rewind it again. Maybe it was me. I might have misquoted him. This is the president of the United States, the leader of the free world, this is how powerful Babylon the Great is. This is how powerful Esau is in this seat. Listen to what this dude says.
Iran does want to speak, and I think they'd like to speak to me, and it's time that they do. We're not looking to hurt them. We're looking to let them be a country again. They got beat up.
He said, we're not looking to hurt them. He says, we're looking to let them be a country again. Showing if you go against Esau and his policy, he will cripple you economically, politically, and militarily. And when you go and fall in line with what they want, they'll let you be part of global trade again. Okay? This is very important to show you that we are living in Babylon the Great. Can you read that, please?
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 55 and verse 21.
Thank you.
The words in his mouth were smoother than butter.
And they'll have some black people ask, yeah, he's right. Not knowing that there's a war right now to topple the Iranian government to do a regime change. Okay, you got former CIA agents. You have other analysts and other military generals been saying this for months. They want to stop Iran and take over the country like they did with every other puppet regime. That's the MO. And later on, we're going to get into about, okay, let me take a step back. Israel has many nuclear weapons, and they're in the Middle East. Pakistan is an Islamic country that has major nuclear weapons. So why aren't they trying to go topple Pakistan? It's because Pakistan does not have the resources and the clout and the oil that Iran has. So keep that in mind. Esau knows what he's doing. I'm sorry, Solomon. Read on.
The book of Psalms, chapter 55, verse 21.
Yes, sir.
The words in his heart were smoother than butter.
Smoother than butter.
But war is in his heart.
War is in his heart, and he'll make you think that he didn't do anything wrong. He's smooth, but war is in this man's heart. War, okay? Go back. Go back to, I think we were almost done. No, it's a short video.
They were both exhausted, frankly, but Iran really got beat up. And
Pause. He just said, we're not looking to hurt you or anything. Then the demon comes back and I like Trump. And he said, Iran really got beat up. Who beat him up? You did. You authorized it. Esau's the devil. Give me Job 9:24. Esau runs this thing here. China's not the next power. Esau runs everything. That's why I saw a Ukrainian comedian was doing stand-up, and he was complaining about how he came to this country and other white people were complaining how bad they thought they had it. And he starts laughing. He said, and this white dude, he said, why don't you go live in Ukraine? Go to Ukraine and live. Go to another country and you see how much you like it. This country, as much as even black people complain, this is the land of opportunity. This is a place where if you save your money and you be smart with it, you can get ahead. All right?
The book of Job, chapter 9 and verse 24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked.
Stop. Read it again.
The earth is given.
Stop. Given by who? Read on.
Into the hand of the wicked.
God allows this to happen. Otherwise, get me Isaiah 14. How does this happen? The U.S. is so powerful. It comes with the president on national. He says, we're not looking to hurt Iran or anything. And then later on, 17 seconds later, he says, they really hurt bad. Well, who hurt him? You hurt him. You ordered the drop of the bomb. The bomb's plural. Read.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 14 and verse 14.
Is this he who weakened the nations?
I will ascend above the heights of the cloud.
Right.
I will be like
Stop.
the most.
Who let him sit above? Who gave him the power to space travel? Who gave Oppenheimer the understanding of nuclear fusion? The Most High. He had to. Read.
I will ascend above the heights of the clouds.
And that was a process of time. It didn't happen in 1801. It happened in time. 1902, 1903, the Wright brothers, Caucasians, God gave them power. Read.
I will be like the Most High.
And that's why he's like the Most High. How? Everything in his movies, in his actors, in his images, in his artisanship represents him as God, Christ, the angels, the prophets, hell, even the damn Egyptians. He could be anything and everything. Read on.
Verse 12.
Yep.
How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer?
Right, fallen from his position of rulership. Read on.
Son of the morning. How art thou cut down to the ground?
So what is going to cut down Babylon the Great to the ground? It is going to have to be everything perfectly orchestrated at the same time. We talk about it every show. NATO is going to hate the whore. NATO is going to go to war with this place. China and Russia are going to back Iran after, but before that happens, the Arabs will rise as one. 2nd Ezra 15, we go over it all the time. Keep this in mind as we go through this, because you can get lost in the trap. Well, Iran's down. Iran is yielding. No, Iran is thinking. Iran is using strategy. Iran is lining things up right now. And what do you think the Arabs are doing? The Arabs are actually planning. They're not laying down right now. There was 600 Palestinian men, women, and children killed this week trying to get food. The Israelis are murking them with drones as they go in to get flour and things from relief shelters. So they're really, it's going down. Brothers, please, I can't do all the talking. Huh? I'm sorry, read it again.
Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 12. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer?
Right, Lucifer, read.
Son of the morning.
Right, that's the man, read on.
How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations?
What man? If Lucifer is the angel that's running around from heaven that fell down, how is he weakening the nations? It's a spiritual demon going around and saying, no, it's a man on earth. That man is who? That man, we just watched him and everything he represents and everything that represents the arm of Babylon. He's the arm of Babylon. Read.
Verse 13.
Yep.
For thou hast said in thine heart,
This is the part. Read.
I will ascend into heaven.
Right.
I will exalt my throne above the stars of God.
Remember, Job said the earth is given into, by who? By God. Now watch this part. Read it again.
I will ascend into heaven.
Right. He said that. He said, he thinks it's all about him. I'm getting here. I'm the nuclear scientist. I'm the astronaut. I'm all these things because I'm smarter. He don't understand, figured it out yet. Read on.
I will exalt my throne above the stars of God.
Nobody going to stop me. Space travel, all that. Read on. Watch this.
I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north.
Right. Putting his foot on the Israelites, slavery, Jim Crow, all that, black codes. Read on.
I will ascend above the heights of the clouds.
But read on.
I will be like the Most High.
But watch this.
Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell.
God is doing all this just so he can bring him down to a lower state in front of everybody, including the nations. Just like he did to Pharaoh when you read in Romans chapter 9. So when you see these things as Israel, I can understand how black folks and our people in the world are like, well, we know it has to happen. When we watch this, I'm not surprised that he said in 29-second clip, I'm not surprised he said that. Mikhail, bring something out, man. I need you to bring something out real quick.
So, read that again. Read verse 13 again for me.
Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 13.
Uh-huh.
For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north.
When he says he will sit upon the congregation, that's talking about oppressing the children of Israel. When you look at this big, beautiful bill and the cuts to Medicaid and Medicare, the Medicaid, our people are the ones that use that the most. When you look at by stats, 65% of Native American women use that when they give birth, followed by African American women at 64%, and then followed by Hispanic women at 58%. So they're going to be directly impacted at childbirth by these cuts that this big, beautiful bill is providing. So it's showing you that they're oppressing the children of Israel and sitting on the congregation, like the scripture says.
And that's this big, beautiful bill. It is big and beautiful for Esau and power, 100%. Yes. Now, so we just heard Donald Trump make the most hypocritical statement, and everybody was rocked back to sleep because why? That's Babylon the Great. Now, we got a lot more. Go to the next. Let me see something.
Remember last week we were talking about it. They flew B-2 bombers in. Mm-hmm. They bombed Iran. Then he told Iran and the Israelis to make peace. Not even 24 hours, the Israelis loaded every bomb they had and went and bombed. They follow Big Brother. Mm-hmm. They follow right behind him. It's the same tactic. Now he said, "Hey, we want to help them now."
So now he says, "We're going to let you be a nation.
Right.
We don't want to hurt you, but they were really beat up." Like Cal brought out earlier, y'all the ones that did it.
Right.
I guess they wrote "I love you" on the bombs when they were dropping them or something. Just,
they did do stuff like that. Yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised.
Man.
All right, so where were we at? Go back to that. I'm looking for tonight's lineup. Okay, so did you go to 1 and 2? Let me see. Did you do Al Jazeera? We did that. Let him be a country again. Okay. I don't want to do the Chinese fighter jets yet. What I do want to do me a favor. Why? Go to geopolitical. I have 3 timestamps. Geopolitical. And he's going to get into the history. Why is the U.S. so concerned about Iran? Again, Pakistan is an Islamic state, a big nation, powerful military with nuclear weapons. They have sponsored terrorists. Why are they not toppling Pakistan and after Iran. Again, it's all about if they control who runs the country, they can control commerce, they can control trade. That's what they've always, that's the whole Iraq war about Saddam Hussein. Matter of fact, the Israelis used to arm Iran in 1980 through 86. They armed Iran to fight against Saddam Hussein in Iraq. Why? Because they wanted to destroy Iraq. That was their whole plan, to control the Persian Gulf. Okay, play this.
The US dollar has been the dominant global currency for nearly a century. This has given the United States a lot of political and economic power, including what's known as its exorbitant privilege. The US can run massive trade deficits, and workers in other countries have to work hard producing goods and services that they export to the US. And all the US has to do to import that is simply print the US dollar. And whereas most countries would face very significant inflation if they were to run these enormous deficits over time, the US doesn't have as high inflation because there is global demand for the US dollar. This is the exorbitant privilege of the US dollar, and this has benefited economic elites in the US. However, increasingly, especially in the 21st century, the US government has been abusing this exorbitant privilege and turning the dollar into a geopolitical weapon. The US has imposed...
Okay, let's pause on this map. He's about to break down colonization, and he's going to break down sanctioning pretty soon. So let's look at that map. He's going to break it down. Play on.
Federal sanctions on 1/3 of all countries on Earth, and that includes 60% of low-income nations. This is a form of economic warfare. These sanctions violate international law because they do not have the support of...
So just like, he's going to talk about Cuba in a second, they have votes every year at the United Nations where, for example, Cuba has been in an embargo since the 1960s, right? Every year, most countries vote to relieve that because it's illegal. The U.S. and one of the two other countries vote to not do that. It doesn't matter. The U.S. can do whatever they want whenever they want. If every country on the earth said this is wrong and the U.S. said no, they wouldn't have to do it. Showing you the power that it has. That's why when Isaiah said, is this the man that weakened the nations? They literally, after 1971, he's going to tell you, they stopped backing the U.S. dollar by gold. So what was it backed by? U.S. treasuries, bonds. They can make it up. Play on, watch this. It's hot in here. Is it me? Maybe it's just me. It's hot, bro.
Nations, yet the U.S. has used its control over the global reserve currency in order to try to lock countries out of the international financial system, which is largely dominated by the U.S. This has led to growing resistance and a worldwide movement of countries pushing for de-dollarization, seeking alternatives to the U.S. dollar.
So one of the alternatives he's going to talk about later is BRICS. And Iran in 2022 or 24 just became a full-fledged partner. Now, next timestamp.
A country that has been very important in the global movement for de-dollarization is Iran.
Okay, here we go.
Iran has been selling...
First, he talked about de-dollarization. He talked about the U.S. has 1/3 of all countries on the earth it has sanctions on, and 60% of those are countries that are impoverished. Now he's talking about Iran and how Iran is a big part of de-dollarization of the U.S. dollar. This is important, okay? And this guy, he does not share a mainstream Western Edomite agenda. If you notice some of his words, he pronounced it a little bit different. He says, because he's not an American journalist. He doesn't share the values of what we are forced growing up on these stupid 3 networks. Play.
In US dollars, but in other currencies, in particular, the Chinese currency, the renminbi or yuan. And this has really frightened the United States, which is trying to maintain the global dominance of the US dollar. And for decades, the US government has tried to force major oil producers only to sell their oil in US dollars. This is especially the case for the Persian Gulf monarchies like Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates, because these countries export a lot of oil and gas, which means they make a lot of foreign currency, in particular US dollars, because the US imposed a petrodollar system on the region in the 1970s, forcing these countries to sell their oil and gas in dollars, which maintains global demand for the US dollar.
Pause.
However,
So Iran and Saudi Arabia represent what? A movement away from the U.S. being backed by the petrodollar. And what Iran was doing, along with Saudi, which Saudi was trying to get, it was getting some pushback from the U.S., is if I do a deal, I'm supposed to sell you oil in the U.S. dollar. But if I'm China, I'm like, I'm powerful. Why do I have to trade? Let me give you my yen, and you give me, we trade in our own currency. Iran is not following the protocol. And they're afraid if Iran is successful, others will follow. That's where we're at right now.
Recent years, the Persian Gulf countries have been moving closer and closer to China, which is their largest trading partner. And even Saudi Arabia is now talking about selling its oil in China's currency, the renminbi or yuan, which would be a major blow to the global dominance of the US dollar.
Now, I want to bring something to your remembrance. If you remember back in 2024, Saudi Arabia was invited to become a full partner in BRICS, and they declined. Iran did become a full partner, along with, I forget somebody else, one of the other countries in them. Pull up a list of recent partner BRICS countries. It's very important. Hold up. Pull up a map real quick. You should have it. Pull up a map of the Middle East. I want to see something. And then get me the BRICS partner countries. Map up? Okay. All right, this is why. Okay, so if we let's look at the Persian Gulf right in the middle. All right, y'all see Saudi Arabia in the yellow at home. You see Iran is directly northeast of Saudi Arabia. The Persian Gulf, bring it in a little bit. That is one of the most traded areas and the largest producer of oil on the earth, right? We talked before about how did Kuwait become its own country with a military base. And it's kind of funny how Kuwait takes up about 80% of the perimeter border with the Persian Gulf, and Iraq only has a little teeny little place up there. Do you think that the Arabs set that in motion? No, they did not. So Saudi Arabia is very, very important because of the fact that they have about 40% of the Persian Gulf. United Arab Emirates, you hear that all the time. UAE, super powerful country, right? But then let's look at Iran. Iran has more than 50% of the whole Persian Gulf. It borders on the Caspian Sea. Look at the sheer size of it, right? It borders Pakistan, Afghanistan. Scroll down a little bit. And we keep talking about the Strait of Hormuz. The Strait of Hormuz. Last, I think Michael might have covered it. Mm-hmm. They were talking about Iran shutting down trade. That means they have the power to shut. Why can't Oman? Why doesn't why doesn't, when Iran says we're shutting it down, why doesn't the United Arab Emirates say, you can't shut it down? We have the other peninsula. They have no power. No. Iran has power. If you shut down, you control the flow. Because remember, the ship's got to go up into that little, what the hell is it called? That right there. Circle that. And Iran has, look at the strategic advantage. Iran has 2 banks in the island, which they can have a maritime fleet. They have bases right there. They can shut that down. And what does that do? It stops oil from Iraq, stops oil from all Iran. It stops oil from Saudi, from Kuwait, from United Arab Emirates, from Qatar, from Oman, it can shut all that down because of the passage point. And this is why, now, real quick, give me the last video I sent you. It's Iran's real destruction to Israel. Western media is designed for Esau to make Esau feel invincible. The reality is that, and this is another Edomite telling about what really, the damage that really happened in Israel during the 12-day war. So this one guy's a CIA, another guy's a professor. This is Judge. They're going to show a map, and they're going to talk about Israel was severely damaged during the bombardment of Iranian incoming. All right? Play that.
Larry, you have given
Can you
us
turn it up?
a rather extraordinary map, which you posted on your site, Sonar 21, of the significant sites in Israel where the Iranians achieved maximum devastation. Yeah. How bad, in general terms, Chris is going to put up the map, but how bad in general terms was the Iranian retaliation, Larry?
Worse than anybody.
We're going to go back to the video, but I want you at home to look at, just get an understanding of this. Look at the white part is the country of Israel. See the country, that white shape on the left and the right, this magnifies. All the bullseye circles are major areas where Iranian missiles successfully hit. From the north, all the way at the top of Israel near Lebanon, all the way to the bottom. Solomon, can you see that? Can you read some of these?
Yes, sir. Al Jalil Base, Haifa Port.
Okay, can you read the little words? Because I can if you can't. You see the little below.
Haifa Power Plant, Northern Israel Power Plant.
The military headquarters of the army in northern Israel.
They hit Al Jalil Base. That's the head. They hit it. They're not talking about that in the media. They hit it significantly. Let's go down.
Haif Port, oil dock, and naval base.
They hit a Navy base. That's another military point of importance. Read on.
Haifa Power Plant, Northern Israel Power Plant.
They hit a power plant that controls power that goes to the northern part of the country. Read on.
Haifa Oil Refinery, the main supplier of energy and fuel.
For who? The country of Israel. They hit that. Why isn't that not talked about on the news? They make it seem like, oh, they got hit with 12 rockets. Yeah, a couple of cars blew up. No, they knew what they had intelligence. Intel means they knew where to strike. They were not dumb. You don't just, hey, Chuck, let's fire 50 missiles and maybe one of them hit the target. No, they knew exactly what they were doing. Read on.
Tel Nor Air Base.
So far, they hit the military headquarters of the army in northern Israel. They hit a Navy oil and naval base, and then they also hit a air base. They hit the army. They hit their Navy. They hit their Air Force. Read on.
Makar Mossad, Regime Intelligence Organization.
Stop. Look up Mossad. Mossad is what you hear in all the time. Mossad is Israel's version of the Central Intelligence Agency. Look up Mossad. This under Netanyahu and the Israeli regime, they have operatives all over the world. They have operatives in the White House. They have spied on the White House. Read that.
Mossad, officially the Institution for Intelligence and Special Operations in Israel's National Intelligence Agency. It focuses on human intelligence collection, covert action, and counterterrorism, playing a vital role in Israel's national security.
Remember that. They play a vital role in the national security. Go back to the map, the video. They hit Makar Mossad, the regime intelligence organization. They hit that They hit a site. How do you find that? So they got intelligence on the Central Intelligence for Israel, and they hit it.
Yep.
You got to understand, like, the reason why the 12-day war stopped is because Israel was getting defeated. And it was a dropping the nuclear bomb was political, not nuclear, but dropping the bunker buster was a political move to make Trump look like, I fixed it, we stopped it, it ended this. No. They were getting obliterated, okay? Read on.
Karyat Base, headquarters of the army of the regime.
Okay.
Raphael Company, supplier of defense systems. Power plant in.
So that's like Lockheed Martin. That's like Techron. That's like Sikorsky.
Yeah.
They make helicopters. They hit a what is it? If I'm a supplier, what am I doing? I'm making the products in the distribution line. So if I hit that facility, I'm damaging multi-million-dollar parts of assembly line, finished products, maybe the certain planes or certain weapons are in the process of being built. They knew how to hit it, and they hit it. Read on.
Ben Gurion Airport, Tel Aviv's main airport.
Okay, I want you to look up Ben Gurion Airport. So when you fly in and out of Israel, that's like in New York City they have JFK, they have LaGuardia, right? In Chicago they have O'Hare. In Atlanta, I forget what name is Atlanta Airport. There's certain airports.
Hartfield, I think, something like that.
Yes. There, especially New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, huge airports. This is the biggest, most notable airport in all of the country of Israel. They hit their top airport. Why is this not being talked about? And you can't say that we're doing. This is a professor and a Caucasian CIA former intelligence operative. He's saying this. Can you tell me a little bit about it? Tell us a little bit about it.
Ben Gurion.
Ben Gurion International Airport, commonly known by the Hebrew language acronym NATBAG, is the main international airport of Israel, situated on outskirts north of the city of Lod and directly south of the city of Yehuda.
So, I'm sorry, go ahead.
It is the busiest airport in the country.
So they hit the busiest airport in the country. Let's go back, and we're not even done with everything. And this is what they reported. Imagine if the war had went 13 days or 14 days and not 12 days. I think that's it. There's one more.
Scientific Center at Yasmin Scientific Research Center.
What are some of the sciences? Chemistry, nuclear fusion technology. These are science. It ain't talking about earth science with topography and the study of geology. Let's look at rocks in the ground. That's not the science it's talking about. They hit in 12 days. They did the damage. Now, let the video play on because he's gonna get into it more.
Imagine or wants to acknowledge in the West. In addition, people fail to appreciate how big Iran is. Yes, Israel hit Iran in a number of places. Yes, Israel inflicted damage, but it's like a mosquito biting an elephant. Iran is 3 times the land size of Ukraine.
You heard that? 3 times the land size as the country. Ukraine's a big country. These maps don't do it. Like when you see Africa on a map, Greenland looks like it's half the size. Greenland is a spot next to Africa. Iran is gigantic. It's a huge country. Okay, play on.
Times the population size of Ukraine. Israel is so vulnerable on so many fronts. So look at what Iran did in 12 days. They closed down the only 2 container ports, so no goods were being imported, exported out of those ports.
We didn't read that. They shut down. Did it say the only 2 container ports? So if you bomb them, if they continued, if Israel has no shipping containers come into the country? They proved they could hit the busiest airport. They proved they hit their Navy base, their Air Force base, and their Army base in the north in 12 days. Guess what? The U.S. had to step in because they were going to destroy Israel if it had gone on for days or weeks more. This is what's not being reported. And this is why we have to look more. Y'all at home, you have to look more into this. You can't just you got to, like when I do these shows, when we do this, I have to search. I search for hours and I have to look for this and cross references because I'm trying to find it's hard to find certain things. You have to search and you have to, okay, this guy's good and I got to watch this whole video and I got to go back and I got to timestamp this because it'd be nice if the news was, you come and they tell you everything you need to hear and it was all accurate and then it'd be nice. You sit down after work, you watch. It's not like that. We can't do that. We have to watch and pray. We have to watch what's going on. Okay.
Cap, last week,
please, y'all got to say something. I've been talking the whole goddamn time myself.
Cap, last week, McGregor, he said it. He said Israel needed this break. For every 2 missiles that Iran was firing, Israel had to fire like pretty much they fire like 2 years worth of missiles that they don't have, and they need Big Brother to step in and get them. If the ports are shut down, Israel cannot defend themselves. They can't do it. One missile come in, and that's how it is. Every 1 missile that come in, they have to fire 2 to try to shut that one down, and they don't have it.
And that makes it all the more significant that they hit that Raphael company because that's the supplier of defense systems. So what does that mean? They supply the Iron Dome. That's what that means directly. You take down the Iron Dome, what Israel have left? Nothing.
And remember, 12 days is not even 2 weeks. In order for them to do this and carry these targets out and successful hits, you had intel for a very long time on that. They already knew where they were going to strike. And I'm going to tell you something about the Iranians. And most of the times, they did not attack public facilities. They followed the rules of war, if you could call it that. Whereas the Israelis, remember what they did was it Lebanon? With the pagers? They put a whole bunch of pages out, and then they set them up. They exploded at the same time, and killed hundreds and maimed people all over, innocent people that were picking other people's phones up. So, and they're doing it in an ethical style of war, unlike the Israelis who are deceitful. And it's not me that's saying it. This is many other Edomite news stations are saying the same thing that are non-traditional mainstream news outlets.
Cap,
bring it out, please.
As we're looking at this map, what we see right here in the big one, we're seeing a small portion of the damage that was done. Well, I ain't gonna say a small portion, but there's additional portions. Or if you see over here on the left side, they hit another air base. It's 2 air bases, as well as an Israeli nuclear research center.
What?
Strategic area.
Where do you see that
in Tel Aviv.
Yeah,
it's over here on this side.
Yeah, scroll up some.
If you look over all the way over.
Can you blow that up so that people can see that at home?
Yes, sir. Because we're looking at the big picture right here, but when you look at that, there's a lot of area in that has south of, or well, when you're looking at Israel like that, it'll be southwest of where the country is. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of damage. I mean, an Israeli nuclear power plant, that's a lot of, that they lost a lot right there. Just with that being damaged, oh man, they needed that. Remember, they really needed that.
They were starting to flee out of the country. They're like, look, we got to go. They say, we got to get the hell out of here. Like, this is, because these are precision strikes. They're not hitting hospitals, schools like, the Israelis. They just bomb schools, hospitals. They call them combatants. The Iranians are hitting precision targets.
Right.
You know what the sad part is about that nuclear facility that's getting blown up? Is more than likely that's near Dimona, where our brothers and sisters are.
Oh, yeah.
In the desert in Dimona next to the nuclear power plant.
Wow. 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 So Officer Salma brings up a good point. So we couldn't even see this on the other map. So bring it out what you were saying. That's look
So
at this.
we got the Israel Nuclear Research Center.
Wow.
So that's their research center for their, their nuclear bombs. How they're creating their weapons. Strategic area in Tel Aviv. Then you have the, I'm not exactly sure, Nevidum Air Base. So, hey, that air base was damaged. Then they had another Avada Air Base that was damaged. And that's warfare control center. So they received a lot of damage that they got to recover from.
Right, hell of points. And listen, and this is what they're letting us see. And this was after 12 days. Did we finish all the timestamps in geopolitical? I don't believe we did.
No.
Before we do that, pull up. It's a timestamp from. It says Chinese J-10Cs for Iran. It is Iran to get Chinese fighter jets. And we're going to show you that, again, BRICS was initially economic, but there's other things that are going behind the scenes. China, Russia, India, South Africa, they are all they're going to work together. So this is I just stumbled upon this guy today. He's all right, the Asian gentleman. Play.
Needs time to recuperate, to rebuild. This is what Israel is doing also, by the way. So the ceasefire is really a pause.
It wasn't about ceasefire. It was about it was about regrouping.
Exactly. It's a pause. So the both sides can regroup for round two. And for Iran, this is why they did two things. First, they sent their foreign minister to Russia.
Pause. Why would Iran send their foreign minister to Russia? Because they are looking to get political support and also military support. So remember that. The first thing, instead of striking back, they called the ceasefire. They are now thinking, okay, let's send our ambassador to talk with Lavrov. You know Lavrov, the guy that has a deep voice with the glasses, the tall guy? That's they're going to send the equivalent of their Lavrov to speak with Russia. Why? Play on.
Because they probably right now want the fast track on some of the weapon deliveries. Because before this, Iran had ordered air defense system S-300, S-400 from Russia. They also ordered a batch of Su-35 jet fighters from Russia. But
they never got those ones. They didn't get those ones, Carl.
They haven't been delivered. And this is the reason the Iranian airspace was wide open for the Israelis, because they don't have the Air Force, they don't have the air defense system. And so, I mean, for whatever reasons they're not delivered. I mean, you may be just because Russia right now is so focused on Ukraine, and their military industrial complex is geared towards the Ukraine conflict right now. It might be a production bottleneck. It might be there might be some deal that's being worked out. I don't know. Like some people say, maybe this is why exchange for the West only sent the second-hand F-16s
so
to you.
Real quick, showing you that Russia is aligned politically with BRICS, right, and economically, but they're supplying jet fighters. And if I'm Russia and I produce I think S-35 jet fighter, another thing that I have to provide is training on the fighter. You can't say, here you go, Chuck, take this fighter. They have to send their Russian training pilots, and they train the military of Iran. So now, that's Russia. But watch what she's going to change gears and talk about someone else. Watch this.
Well, for whatever reason, there was pileup of the air defense system and Air Force and plane delivery to Iran. Then following that, Iranian defense minister made his first trip to China to attend the Shanghai Cooperation Organization meeting. And that is...
Pause. This is where it's the alignments are starting to link up. He made his first trip to China. Why? Because everything gets produced cheaper in China. And yes, and even fighter jets. Watch what he about to break it down. This was all news to me. I didn't know this was going on. Play on.
Because there's now many widespread talks. Iran is in talks with China to acquire J-10C fighter jets.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Do me a favor. I want you to pause a sec. I want you to look up J-10C Chinese fighter jets. I want some specs on it. I want some speeds. I want the good stuff. All right, because you're going to get a comparison between what does it cost to produce one U.S. F-16 and a Chinese fighter. It's going to drop. Your jaw's going to drop. Your jaw's going to drop.
You know, Cap.
Bring it out.
One of the things that's amazing, Iran has really been busy. Back in March 12, 2022, they had talks with Saudi Arabia. So now they're also talking with Russia. Right. Now they're also expanding their talks to China. All of this is being set up. That's being mentioned. That was mentioned in 2nd Ezra 15. All of this stuff. When they have all of this stuff lined up, and they go against Syria, that's mentioned in, which is Israel in the Bible.
Yep.
They're gonna have everything that they need to take that place off the map.
Hey, and remember, it said the least of the flock will draw them out. And that's exactly what's going on, because I'm going to tell you something. Big Brother's got to run to the rescue, because if they had to let that war continue for another 3-4 days, we showed you the map and all the targets. Multiple bases, Navy, Air Force, Army bases, nuclear facilities, science centers, the major airport, the busiest airport in all of the country. The list goes on and on and on and on. And that was in 12 days. Check this out. Follow along at home. Watch this.
The Jian 10 Minglong NATO reporting named Firebird is a Chinese medium-weight, single-engine Metro combat aircraft.
Do me a favor. That's the J-10. Looking for the J-10 Charlie. J-10C, because that's the J-10B. See if you can find that. Hey, that's the job of a tech guy. You gotta look stuff up. You gotta look stuff up like I care. Tech nerd. Come on, it's your damn job. Okay. Okay. But I'd like to see this C. It doesn't say C, no? When I say Charlie, man, I was just giving you the letter C. Not actually Charlie. That's my fault. C. There you go. There you go. Maybe it's not going to let you see it, huh? No? I see something right there. J-10C.
The video.
If we had something short, that's fine. Let's we get a little understanding about this. This is a long video. I don't want to watch all of it, but let's just take a look at this, y'all. What we're looking for is some specs. So in the meantime, even on your phones, tech guys, you can pull it up and look for J-10C, and it should have a quick article that gives you specs. I mean, okay.
J-10C for Iran. So this is from the Bulgarian military.com. Iran bets on the J-10C to counter Israeli F-35. So Operation Midnight Hammer, the 12 days of war they've had with Israel has kind of highlighted the inadequacies of the Iranian air defense, apparently. So if you guys remember, Iran ordered Su-35s a while ago from Russia. They did not materialize. Rumor is those jets went to Algeria. So they're looking for a better airplane than what they have. So Iran's fighter fleet is basically what they bought from the U.S. in the 70s. Tomcats, F5s, F4s.
Tomcats. Well,
Tomcats.
Rest in peace.
That's right. So, yeah, Iran's Air Force, a relic of the past. So they've done what they can with those 3rd and 4th gen fighters. Obviously, when the U.S. left in the 70s, we took a lot of the expertise with us, but they've got those airplanes are still flying today. So they're looking for something newer. The J-10C has gotten a lot of publicity in the India-Pakistan engagement from not too long ago. So they're looking to the J10C to.
So did you see that in that report that they was talking about, they actually acquired a lot of planes from the Soviet Union, but these were planes from the 80s, and then they upgraded to planes that they had in the 90s. I mean, man, 90s, that was what, 30 plus years ago? So, I mean, that was a long doggone time ago. That was, man, it's what, almost 40 years ago, huh? Yeah. Man, that's crazy.
All right, so and the reason why this is so important, we see the price that China is charging for one of these, and you understand what the power that this fighter can deliver, it's going to be a game changer for anybody that shops China. Let's read that. This is the
Chengdu J-10 Charlie. Vigorous Dragon is a Chinese 4.5 generation multi-role fighter aircraft known for its AESA radar, canard delta wing configuration, and various advanced features. It measures 16.9 meters in length, 9.8 meters in wingspan, and 5.7 meters in height.
So a meter is a little bit more than I think a meter is what? Because 100-yard dash is a little shorter than 100-meter. A meter is a little bit more than a yard. So a meter is about what? 3.5 feet, something like that. So multiply 3.37 times 5.7. That's how tall this thing is.
Powered by a single WS-10 Bravo outburning turbofan engine. It can reach speeds up to Mach 1.8 and a service ceiling of 18,000 meters.
18,000 meters is over 54,000 feet in the sky. Whenever you fly a commercial jet, they'll say, you can now unleash your passenger seatbelts because we're at 30,000 feet, cruising your captain. So 30,000 feet is way up there. These can go almost double above what commercial planes can go at. Just think about that. Now, 59, quick with it. 59, almost double what we fly at the highest at a commercial when you fly Southwest or Delta, right? Now, see if you can find cost of production, because this is important. You can just type in right where you have, put cost of production of that. That's all you got to do. Okay. So now, it says, let's go with the lower number, $60 million. Now, pause this. In the same search engine, just type in, what is the cost of an F-16? What is the U.S. planes again?
F-16.
F-16. Type in, let's see the difference. Okay, that can't be it. That's the old one. Hold up. Type in most sophisticated U.S. fighter jet. That is this. I want to show the difference. Because I saw 1998. That was a long time ago.
It might be F-18. Is it 18 now?
Type in most sophisticated U.S. fighter jets.
Oh, F-22 Raptor.
Okay, that's the point. They're saying that the Chinese Sea that cost about $60 million, they're producing it and they can hang in dogfights with Raptors and other jets. Look at the cost of that. $350 million. So they're producing for like a sixth of the price something that can hang in a dogfight or an aerial gunfight. China is a game changer. This is why they're taking over the world with trade. Not only do they make the cheap dolls cheaper, and they making jets that are powerful for a sixth of the price.
Timu jets.
Hey, this China it's no joke.
Shein jet.
So go back to the
TikTok jets.
Go back to that.
Man.
I know we need to take a break soon. We're going to take a break soon.
Defense systems, because especially after witness the aftermath of the Pakistani-Indian conflict.
That is correct.
Place recent, it really kind of show, how Chinese weapon system can be cost effective, because those J-10Cs, they only cost like 40 to 50 million a piece.
Okay, Paul. So AI said 40 to 60 to 90. He's saying 40 to 50. We'll say 60 million. We'll just set it at 60 million. Play on.
It's the cheapest in its category, but they will, with the not J-10C, Iran can deal with Israel's F-16 effectively. And,
if they were able, if the Pakistanis were able to shut down the Rafales, which Rafales for France considered one of the top in the world, and the Chinese missiles were just zoomed at it, I make more sense for the Iranians to go ahead. And I'm not saying they should forgo about Russia, but you have a more affordable weapon from China, more technical advanced, and a reliable weapon you can count on.
So keep that in mind. Look, this is what we're going to do is it's getting late. It's 10:50. We're going to take an intermission break. When we come back, we're going to do the second half of the show. So, oh, yes, obviously, that's not here today. All praise to the Most High. Stick around. We're going to go to a commercial break. Shalom.
Hey, Shalom Israel. Most High in Christ bless. Why do you subscribe? IUIC New Orleans, subscribe, go to our YouTube page, help us to grow, comment, like, share. What's going on? Make it happen. Everything.
How you doing? I'm doing good, man. Family fun day.
I'm talking freedom like life without Edom. We got 80 rows, now it's high time to eat them. 1,000 ghettos, it's about time to bleed them. Because the lost sheep will go anywhere you lead them. My boy AJ found out he wasn't free when he couldn't go to 106 and just park. The same for Sean Bell, he was getting married in the morning, but that night 50 shots in his car. Damn, we'll be walking in the dark trying to find that light switch. But we don't play with dolls, it's gonna be that Mike Vick. That's cause you robbed me for being king. And it's for every time you hit me with that nightstick. Free from oppression, free from your...
Thank you. Love y'all. I'll be 83 years old. I've been waiting for this for years to see how people get out here and do things. It's a blessing. Used to be in the church. Not no more. Not no more. I love seeing these young black men, older black men together as a unity. We don't have that. We need more of that.
You're gonna survive. If you join them, you're gonna survive.
Hey, Shalom Israel, Most High in Christ, blessed to get done here. We just completed the Juneteenth Philly March. All praise to the Most High. Every year we do this. Lord's people got a chance to see how us march in solidarity, uniformity. We got a lot of praise out there. We got a lot of positive feedback from what I was seeing. As we were marching, people were clapping and they were happy to see us. So all praise to the Most High. Every year we come out here and show our people that there's another way outside these streets, out of the gang. So Lord's will, the Most High's word went out. The Most High's example went out. Hopefully we get some new fruit. All right, Shalom, Most High, Christ bless.
All praises. Welcome back. Welcome back to the show, y'all. Put up the thumbnail real quick so it's already up there. So the big, beautiful bill in bunker busting bombs. So we briefly touched on the beautiful bill, which is division amongst who? The Democrats and Republicans, and ultimately the rich and the poor. And guess where Israel falls? we fall on the poor side. So we are going to be affected, like Officer Mikael said, for many of the changes in this bill. All right. Who is it big and beautiful to? Esau. That's Esau who got some sort of position in this kingdom. And bunker busting bombs basically alludes to what has been going on with Iran and how the U.S. attacked their nuclear facilities. Go to the next one. It should be. Wait, did we do the last geopolitical? There were 3 timestamps. Let's go to the last timestamp of, he's going to go into a little bit of history about Iran. It's about 3 minutes, 5:15. Geopolitical, number 5. Okay, y'all.
I'll start with Donald Trump. This goes back many decades, and we've seen that regardless of who the U.S. president is, whether or not they're a Republican or a Democrat, they've been carrying out these very aggressive policies against Iran. In fact, this goes back even before the Iranian Revolution. In 1953, the CIA backed a coup that overthrew Iran's democratically elected prime minister, Mohammad Mossadegh, and the U.S. put in power the notorious Shah, the king. He was a brutal dictator who governed with an iron fist from 1953 until the revolution in 1979. And one of the main reasons for this Western-backed coup in Iran in 1953 was because Mohammad Mossadegh, the elected prime minister, was a left-wing nationalist, and he nationalized the oil reserves in Iran.
Remember
he
that.
Kicked out U.S.
Hold up. It's similar what Gaddafi did. He wanted to unite the African nations and do the resources to the people. Ibrahim, who's the brother that we're the French,
Beret. Ibrahim Touré.
That brother right there wants to do the same, nationalize the resources to help the people of, doggone.
Burkina Faso.
Burkina Faso. And so back then, this guy said, I want to take Iran's money. Forget you global elite companies. I want to take the money and let's build Iran and help the Iranian citizens. Well, that didn't go too well. And that's why they had to set up a puppet government. And then in 1979, there was a major uprising in Iran. The Iranian people came and up. This is what he's talking about. Play on.
British oil corporations and said that the oil of Iran belonged to the Iranian people, and he wanted to use Iran's natural resources to develop the country. And this angered Western fossil fuel corporations and, of course, U.S. politicians who were funded by big oil corporations, so they launched this coup. And what this demonstrates...
When they say launch the coup, the people were uprising. Today's modern day coup is Antifa. Like what they did in where's it? These events where George Soros sponsors these. They go to these rallies where say Jake might be protesting, and then they'll go and they'll drop a crate of bricks there, and they'll pay 20 people. They just start throwing bricks and going crazy. So dumb Jake's like, hey, maybe we should do it too, and they're all being paid. They get bonded. They get put in jail. So the U.S. government, and I'm gonna say the U.S. funding of the oil companies. They pay these people to do a coup to rise up against the people that are protesting for their rights. It's all a game. They control all that, okay? So this is the turmoil that started, and this is what's been going on ever since 1979. Pull up Iranian hostage, Iranian plane hostage. It was in the 70s or 80s. It was all over the news.
Yeah, I remember watching that, Cap.
Yeah.
During that time, Walter Cronkite was on the television. That was CBS News.
That dude's like wheat toast. Dude like dry like toast. I'm Walter Cronkite. Tonight's the evening news.
Yeah.
We should get a clip of that. But that's a hell of a point, Officer Solomon. And that was all over, the Iran hostage crisis.
Right.
So it was 1970. Isn't this interesting? That's the year of the uprising in Iran. That's when the people decided enough's enough. They saw how they had a puppet leader that was put in place through the American government that was ruling hard. Why? So he could keep the resources and going to these big oil companies. The people had enough, and then this happened. The Iran hostage crisis. I remember seeing it when I was like 3-4 years old. I would hear about it, but as I got older in the 80s, they would keep talking. They would keep talking about it. I remember seeing it as a kid. And read that.
The Iran hostage crisis began on November 4th, 1979, when 66 Americans, including diplomats and other civilian personnel, were taken hostage at the embassy of the United States in Tehran.
Tehran is the capital of Iran.
With 52 of them being held until January 20th, 1981.
Like a year and a half, almost 2 years, they held them in a prison, I think some sort of hostage center. Read on.
The incident occurred after the Muslim student followers of the Imam's line stormed and occupied the building in the months following the Iranian Revolution.
What would form in the minds of the people to storm the U.S. Embassy and take people captive? Well, if you've been oppressed for 2.5 decades before with policies that are set to protect the interest of foreign oil companies, you'd be mad too. Same thing when you read about the French Revolution. The French people, after a while, they were so impoverished, they stormed the Tower of Bastille and toppled the French government. They took them, they went in and murdered people and all the aristocrats. They took them out. It was very similar. It was revolution. This scared the United States of America. And this was, read on.
With support from Ruhollah Khomeini, who had led the Iranian Revolution, would eventually establish the present-day Islamic Republic of Iran. The hostage takers demanded that the United States extradite Iranian King Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, who had been granted asylum by the Carter administration.
President Jimmy Carter, read on.
For cancer treatment. Notable among the assailants were Hossein Deghan, future Minister of Defense of Iran, Muhammad Ali Jafari, future Commander-in-Chief of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, and Mohammad Bagheri, future Chief of the General Staff of the Iranian Armed Forces.
Okay, awesome. Real quick, just stay right there. I want to read something. It said the hostage crisis was a pivotal episode in the history of Iran-United States relations. And this is where we're at today, over, 40, so 1980, damn near what? How many years is that? 45 years later, the effects of it is what we're seeing right now. And the culmination of that is, for the first time, the U.S. attacked and dropped major weaponry on Iran. Okay, go to the next. I'm sorry. Get out. There was the next. It was number 4. Yes, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Thank you.
Is how the oil industry has always been extremely political. You cannot understand the global oil market without understanding geopolitics. And today I'm going to explain how Iran, ever since the revolution in 1979, has understood the power of oil and has used oil as a geopolitical tool to challenge the United States. Now, Iran is a major country. It has more than 90 million people, and it's one of the leading producers of both oil and natural gas. And the Iranian government has used its position in the global oil and gas market to push de-dollarization, to challenge the dominance of the US dollar, and to challenge US political dominance overall. Iran's late former president Ibrahim Raisi spelled this out very clearly. He called on countries in the global south to trade in their own local currencies, not the US dollar. And he said, quote, "The hegemony of the Western world contributes to the hegemony of the dollar. In order to create a new economic order, it is necessary to remove this instrument of hegemony in world practice, to use national currencies in settlements between countries," end quote. In 2024, Iran officially became a full member of BRICS, and Iran's supreme leader Ali Khamenei said that BRICS should be a platform for global de-dollarization.
So this is why they're scared, and this is why you have Iran. Not only did they give drones to Russia, Russia gave fighter planes, which they're waiting to get the contract. They paid the contract. They're waiting to get the fighter jets from Russia. While they wait, they're looking to get the CJ-10s, Charlies that we showed you before. Now, the next one is, remember, Russia has the Orishnik missiles, which are hypersonic style missiles that can use nuclear and or conventional warheads. Now, this is interesting because just like China could give jet fighters, Russia will be sharing their hypersonic missiles with Iran. Play.
Shifting focus, the NATO just concluded a summit where they decided to give a massive boost to their defense spending, which means more jets, more tanks, more weapons. And now it seems Moscow has given its first response. Putin has unveiled its most dangerous weapon yet, and it's already being mass-produced. The hypersonic Oreshnik missile will now be deployed in Belarus. Our next story takes a closer look at how Moscow's lightning-fast strike capability is, in a way, reshaping the continent's balance of power.
Russia has just dropped a bombshell, not on the battlefield, but on the geopolitical chessboard. Moscow could be deploying its most modern, nuclear-capable hypersonic missile in Belarus. The Oreshnik, dubbed as Russia's most dangerous missile, isn't just another warhead on a launcher. It is a next-generation hypersonic nuclear-capable menace designed to pierce any Western...
On the screen it says, if they shot an Oreshnik, and this is not an ICBM, this is not a nuclear warhead. If they shot an Oreshnik style hypersonic missile from Moscow or from Russia, I don't know where they would shoot it at. I think they said Belarus, but it could strike Paris, France in 8 minutes, and London, England in 9 minutes.
Wow.
9 minutes. I don't know if you remember, a couple years ago, we had Putin says that if you cross certain lines, he said London will feel it. He mentioned that years ago. They are years ahead of even the United States when it comes to these hypersonic missiles. And again, they're allied with China and Iran. They are going to share that with Iran. Iran is going to have an Oreshnik style hypersonic missile. This is why, and by the way, I know Officer Mike brought it out before, they gave the first batch of lesser missiles, $10,000 rockets that they shot up that the Golden Dome, the Iron Dome had to shoot down. They did not even shoot their main arsenal yet. And this is why they had to stop the war. Why? Because when Trump dropped those bunker busters, it was to pause the war to get them to bring to the table, because we just showed a map. Israel was getting obliterated by Iran's.
Right.
Okay? Obliterated. We showed you the map. We showed you what the CIA agents said. Okay? Play on.
System. Moscow claims the missile, which means Hazel Tree in Russian, is capable of Mach 10 speeds and near zero intercept probability. Equipped with multiple independently targetable re-entry vehicles, it's the stuff of NATO's worst nightmares. Vladimir Putin has announced the mass production of the Oreshnik missile system, a strategic nuclear game-changer. Now.
He said he announced to his government the mass production of an Oreshnik hypersonic missile that could hit London in 9 minutes. I want you to think, it's such a heavy thing that was said. If you're mass producing, you're producing hundreds of them, right? Now, are they going to share them with the U.S.? No. Are they going to share them with Israel? No. But they will share them with China.
Right.
They're going to share them with Iran.
Right.
And so these are the things that God is setting up. God is behind the scientists in Russia being head of the scientists in the U.S. He's in charge of setting everything in array. And then what's going to happen is, and this is my prediction, in the next couple of years or less, the European countries are going to say, wait a minute. They're mass producing hypersonic missiles, and we're 8 minutes away from being obliterated. Maybe we need to distance ourselves from the U.S. and start realigning ourselves over here. That's going to fulfill prophecy. Now, maybe it take longer to do that. The 10 horns shall hate the whore. How is that going to happen? Because the power is going to lie in the hands of Russia, China, and the Asian area, not the U.S. That's what's going to happen to bring all these wars together. Play on.
Alarmingly close to NATO's Eastern Front.
We will pay special attention to our nuclear triad. Thus, modern YARS systems will be delivered to the strategic missile forces. The aviation component of the strategic nuclear forces will be replenished with modernized Tu-160M missile carriers this year. In addition, serial production of the latest medium-range missile system Oreshnik, which has proven itself very well in combat conditions, is being launched.
Flying at speeds of 12,300 kilometers per hour, it is stealthy and maneuverable.
Remember, Belarus is a country that is aligned with Russia. They are actually on Russia's side.
Right.
And that helps from a position, if they are able to launch the missiles out of Belarus, that's further east. And now he's giving you the trajectory, the pathway to get, and these are the most powerful. Berlin is powerful. London, Paris, these are the most powerful cities in all of Europe. Remember, Germany is Europe's largest economy. Germany is the largest economy, fourth largest in the whole world. Okay, Paris, France has got power. London, England's got a lot of power. And so Belarus is a country that is on the same team with Russia, mass producing hypersonic missiles. And guess what? Iran is going to be the benefactor of getting some of this mass production of hypersonic missiles. Play on.
Making it almost unstoppable. The massive range of over 5,000 kilometers puts several European capitals in its range, from London to Paris. This missile can reach within minutes when launched from Belarus. The Oreshnik, first unleashed in a combat debut against a defense plant in Dnipro, Ukraine delivered a brutal demonstration of its destructive potential. Belarus, already hosting Russian tactical nuclear weapons, now becomes a critical forward operating base for a system designed to penetrate deep into Western Europe within minutes. Bureau Report, WION, World is One.
So, mass production of the Oreshnik-style missile. I think that's all I had. Let me see.
Hey, Cap, I got a question.
Bring it out.
So, if Iran is going to be a benefactor of this multi-produced weapon, and they shoot that towards, let's say, Israel.
Oh, God.
How fast do you think it'll get there?
Shoot. Remember,
within seconds, huh?
Remember, they said it. They said, look, maybe they get lucky and they able to shoot one down. But if you got another one like right on the tail of that one, remember, they fired like 2 years worth of they supply. They got, at this point, they got rubber bands and paper clips they trying to shoot stuff down with. So they might want to stop, but Big Brother was like, hey, they give them the bombs, they were using them.
Right.
They can't get them in there fast enough.
Right.
Why? Because China mass producing everything. They sold all the jobs to China.
And Russia's mass producing.
Russia mass producing. Israel was, but you see, Iran, they counseled with their big brother Russia, and Russia like, yeah, hit them there, bomb here. Don't just waste your bombs.
Right.
Like how Bane said, you fight like a young man holding that back. Nah, they fighting with a purpose. Like, look, we gonna hit here, here, and here.
Right.
And they slowly crippling them.
Yes, sir.
God's behind this all. We got to remember God's behind this all. Now, I just posted, Scott. I didn't get a chance to. The first timestamp is this is from 5-6 hours ago. The first timestamp is 12:20. The second one is but I'm only going to do 2 or 3 minutes of the first one, where Scott Ritter and the same CIA agent are on the show with Judge Napolitano.
I'm surprised this dude's still alive.
Why are they looking at us or that? Wow.
Wow.
Clip for you. I don't know if you've seen it because we've played it a few
real
times.
quick. Larry Johnson. I'm sorry. No, that's not right. That's Scott Ritter on the right. We all know Scott Ritter is former UN, United Nations Chief Weapons Inspector. He was in Iraq, and he also is a Marine Corps officer. And we know this guy on the left is a former CIA intelligence analyst / officer. Play on. They're having a discussion.
It came out after each of you were on with me earlier in the week, but it's really a head scratcher. This is Senator John Kennedy being interviewed by someone at CNN, and what he says is truly astounding, particularly the last 3 words that he uses. He's talking about a briefing that the United States Senate was given. You'll note the conspicuous absence of the person who by law is supposed to be the chief briefer. She's not there. But what he says at the end is mind-boggling. Chris, cut number 7.
Before Israel and America did what we did, Iran was within days of having a nuclear weapon. Now
within days?
Within days.
That's what they told you in this briefing?
Within days.
Sir, just to kind of circle back and put a finer point on this, the days that they were to getting a bomb, that seems to be different from what Tulsi Gabbard had testified to in March. Was there a new assessment? Was that the Israeli assessment? Was that a new American assessment? Was that information new to you in this briefing?
It was new to me. This was a good briefing. It was one of the best I've ever attended. I mean, Rubio, Hegseth, Ratcliffe, General Kane, they didn't bring out a script and read carefully from it. They just looked us in the eye and talked to us.
The assessment that said that Iran was within days of having a bomb, is that Israeli or American assessment?
I don't know.
Wow.
Surprise you, Scott? I don't know, and I guess I didn't ask.
Well, again, I'm not going to Judge. I've been very clear. I wrote an article that was published in Consortium News in October of last year that said Iran is days away from having a nuclear weapon. And people are like, well, we've heard that for 20 years. Well, you didn't hear it from the Iranians. And that's the difference. You see, in October of last year, the Iranians were saying they were days away from having nuclear weapons capability. And I'm talking about the IRGC general in charge of nuclear security. I'm talking about the former head of the Iranian nuclear program. I'm talking about senior advisors to the supreme leader, senior members of the national security.
Right quick. As he's running down all these names, you further understand why he was a part of that team that went and searched out weapons of mass destruction. So if anybody knows what they're talking about in this situation, it would be Scott Ritter.
That's right.
Like he said, they didn't ask the Iranians. You asked everybody else, and they told you 20 years away. And apparently, that 20 years was in a time warp.
That's why they don't like this guy. That's why they raided this guy's house on some trumped up BS. They tried to revoke his passport. This guy, according to Esau, served his company, decorated Marine Corps officer. He should be celebrated. He should be an advisor to military. They are basically blacklisting this dude for lack of a better phrase, meaning that he's doing all these talk shows through these YouTube channels. That's where he's relegated to that. But what he's saying is 100%. He's telling on Esau. Esau is, when his house is divided, you get a guy like this. You would figure he would loyalty. Let me not say nothing, but there's a lot of Esau is so sick of their own damn government that they tell the truth. Play on.
Committee of the Iranian parliament, they all said Iran has all the components already has all the components necessary to produce a nuclear weapon, other than the fissile material and a political decision. That was October. And I said at the time, this is a very dangerous posture for Iran to take, because what it does is it feeds the paranoia of people in the Trump administration, people in Israel, that it allows them to justify an attack on Iran. And again, Iran doubled down on stupid in my book by making even additional claims in January. It got to the point, Professor Morandi.
All right, let's go to the next timestamp. Next timestamp is a good. We're going to close out after this. This next timestamp, he's going to talk about what the power of weaponry, 2246, and then we're going to close out.
You know, we don't know what damage Iran did, but speculation informs speculation, and I happen to agree with it. Iran did a lot of damage to Israel, and that Israel is scared. And so I think
100%, because we had he's going to show a little bit now, but we showed you the map before where Officer Salam was able to point out on the left side of the map. They hit so many strategic targets, from nuclear research facilities, Air Force bases, ports, you name it. They hit it. Major airport. They hit all of these places. Now, Scott and the same analysts are going to break it a little bit down, a little bit more. Play on.
Netanyahu is going to be looking for strategies to manage this. How do you continue to maintain pressure on Iran without having to cross the line of departure again? Because, I mean, it's an amazing statement that came out today from the IRGC. I don't know if you saw it. He said that none of the missile cities that Iran had built, where they store the best of the best missiles they have, he said none of those were activated. We used our old missiles, our old stores. We didn't use any of the new good stuff. He said. So
let me just stop you for a second, Chris. Can you put up Larry's map showing all the places in Iran?
Real quick, go ahead, Mika. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that shows you how, actually, ineffective the Iron Dome is, because 30-year-old bombs were able to do this damage.
Wow.
So this is a clip for the same thing we showed you before about. This is the same CIA. It's actually from this interview, but now he's going to break it down a little bit more and help tie everything what we're talking about. This was a clip we showed earlier, just kind of focus on this. He's going to briefly mention this. He's going to move on. Play on.
Now look at that.
Yeah, I mean,
and now you're telling us that damage was done using the old stuff, Scott.
Using the old stuff, and against a fully functional ballistic missile defense system. I mean, people can talk about all they want about the exhaustion of missiles, et cetera. Israel never exhausted their missiles. Had this war go on, they would have. But my point in saying this is that it wasn't that the missile defense system broke down through a lack of available interceptors. It was that the Iranian missiles overwhelmed the system, and later on, as they fired the more advanced versions, and remember, the most advanced versions they fired appeared to be old Shahab 3 liquid-fueled missiles with modern separating warheads. I think the Imad and the Ghadr H are two with cluster warheads.
What does that mean for those of us unschooled in the technical understanding of missiles?
Well, if we're talking about a hypersonic missile, you're looking at a missile that's going to not only take off at high speed. See, a ballistic missile does a ballistic trajectory. A hypersonic missile is capable of high-speed flight, so it's going to deviate off course. It's going to maneuver. Generally speaking, you can do that with liquid fuel, but the best one to use it is with solid fuel. And the Iranians have solid fuel missiles that do this. But a ballistic missile that goes on a ballistic trajectory and then has a separating warhead. So the warhead separates, the booster falls off. Actually, the booster keeps flying and absorbs interceptor hits. All those interceptor hits you see blowing up in the sky, those are separated boosters being hit because the radars can't differentiate between the small target and the big target. Nobody talks about that. But the warhead comes in, and now the warhead can maneuver. It's got various sensors in it that are looking for their targets. The warhead itself, as it maneuvers, also has its own capability to maneuver and then hyper accelerate down. So it has a propulsion package on the back of it. But a warhead can also separate and then split into submunitions. If you remember, the Oreshnik missile that Russia fired against Ukraine was a a missile that came in, separated the booster, came in, opened up, and it had 6 warheads, each one of which had 6 submunitions. So you saw 6
Pause.
separate strikes.
That's 36 submunitions from one missile. And this is people are sleeping. This is why in the previous 2 videos ago, Vladimir Putin in the Moscow Russian translation is mass producing Orishnik missiles. And Donald Trump's talking about the stupidest stuff, a big, beautiful bill. Meanwhile, Russia's getting ready to set things in order. And most of our people are completely asleep. Okay, Scott's breaking it down. We saw when the Ristic hit months ago, you saw the video when it hit Ukraine. It came down, boom, 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 boom. It was amazing. Play on.
Down each one. Iran has the same thing. I think the Ihad or the Imad missile is that kind. The Ghadr has the same things. Cluster munitions. They also deploy decoys. So you'll see the warhead come in. What's interesting is it separates and slows down. So there's a braking mechanism that pops open, slows it down. It deploys decoys, and then the decoys go out, and you see all the interceptors go out for the decoys because the decoys are superheated, etc., and they're moving on the trajectory that was predicted. And that warhead pops the fins, holds up, decoys go forward, absorb, and then you see the warhead go in, bam. This is the old stuff. We're talking, these are warheads that are like 6-10 years old. The good stuff is still in the missile, the missile, the hypersonic missiles, the maneuvering, the extraordinarily accurate systems. Iran hasn't used them. They may have used 1 or 2. There's talk about they came in with a Fatah just to prove a point, Fatah being the hypersonic, but I think it was the Fatah 1, not the Fatah 2. So Iran hasn't even used its good stuff yet.
Larry. So that's the point. Iran, and let's end with these scriptures. I got one video I'm going to send you for live back attack. Get 2nd Edges 15. I want to keep talking about this because we're forgetting that you would think that logically Iran is going to get the hypersonic and they're just going to attack. There is an order of events that have to happen first. And this is why we got to keep going back to this prophecy. Read.
The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 15 and verse 29.
Yep.
Where the nations of the dragons of Arabia shall come out of many chariots.
Out of many chariots, meaning they're going to come together. Yemen, Oman, Saudi Arabia, okay, Iran, Iraq. They're actually parts of Iran are Arabic, but Iraq, read on.
Come out with many chariots, and the multitude of them shall be carried as the wind upon earth.
That means they're unified. They're not going to be divided when they do that. But watch the next part.
That all they which hear them may fear and tremble.
Why? Because they would never tremble among the Arabs. Because how do you allow, if all you Arabs, how do you allow 58 or more thousand Arabs who call themselves Palestinians to die? No one is scared of the Arabs. They got rogue Allah Akbars, and they got some blow up a bus here, and they're a little crazy. No one is afraid. The U.S. is not afraid of them. There's going to come a time when all these Arabs are going to come together. Read it again.
2nd Ezra chapter 15 and verse 29. Where the nations of the dragons of Arabia shall come out with many chariots.
Those are the sons of Ishmael, the 12 princes. Read on.
And the multitude of them.
And the multitude of them, not single, not just the Yemenis, not just the Lebanese, what do they call them? Hezbollah, read.
Shall be carried as the wind upon earth.
And what they going to be, read.
That all they which hear them.
All they which hear them, read.
May fear and tremble.
Nobody's fearing and trembling against these Arabs, but there's going to come a time. When that happens, what's the next part? Read.
Also the Carmanians.
Also the Carmanians, ancient term for modern day Iranians. Read on.
Raging in wrath.
Why? Because they have the power now, because God is going to give them time. They're going to see Arabs are rising up. Now is the time. Read on.
Raging in wrath.
What do they have in common? What do the Iranian people have in common with the Arabians? they have the same religion, Islam. Okay? What do they say when they are triumphing? They say Allah Akbar. Something else they say. Praise Allah. They say something. Something like that. They have even the ones in Turkey. The Turkish people, even the people in Yemen, and they're all in Pakistan, they all have an Islam saying that they say that unites them.
Alhamdulillah.
I think that's what it is. Sounded authentic. Read on.
Also, the Carmanians, raging in wrath,
come on,
shall go forth as the wild boars of the wood.
Are they going to fight the Arabs? No. Read on.
And with great power shall they come and join battle with them.
So there's going to be a battle. That means the Arabs are going to decide enough to, brother, they killed 58,000 Palestinians. Enough is enough. There was a video we played about a year ago. It showed an Egyptian stadium. They were either playing rugby or football. It was like 90,000 Egyptians singing about free Palestine. And those were Arabs in Egypt. Arabs all over are absolutely angry, but they feel powerless. Because you got, who's the richest of them all? The Saudi princes. Saudi Arabia is the richest country. But guess what? They ain't going to touch the U.S. They got military bases there. The U.S. protects them. They get trillions of dollars they made, and the U.S. helped them make a lot of that money. So as a result of that, it's going to take something really, really powerful for the Saudis to say, F you, America, and they're going to join with their brothers. And when that happens, Iran's going to raise up. All that's, we're living these days. Yeah, you got that good spirit. Pull that up. Might be a video.
Egypt detains 250 Al-Ali fans over pro-Palestine chants.
I think there were players, but there was a stadium. There's a video, and it was. This is when the war kicked off, and they was singing that thing. No, I don't think that's it. I appreciate good spirit to look for it. There was a video, and it was a stadium full of Arabs, and they were singing "Free, Free Palestine," something like that, and it was shaking. It was the reverb, the sound was coming from it, showing you that Arabs all over. There's something that's going to happen. The Lord's going to bring them all together and unite against this Assyrian, aka Esau and Israel. All right, that's all I got, brothers. That's all I got.
You want me to finish this out, Cap?
Yeah, please do.
And join battle with them, and shall waste a portion of the land of the Assyrians.
That's not talking about ancient Assyria, because guess what? Isaiah lived when? Isaiah lived way after the Assyrian Empire. Okay, this is talking about modern Assyria, which is what, like Officer Mikael pointed out, it's Israel. Read on.
Verse 31. And then shall the dragons have the upper hand.
Because they don't have the upper hand right now. Then in that day, the Arabs, the sons of Ishmael, the princes, will have the upper hand. Why? Because enough's enough, and they're not going to be swayed by the dollar. They're not going to be, well, we'll protect you. We'll have our Air Force. Anybody messes with, nothing's going to work in that day. Read on.
Remembering their nature.
What is their nature? It goes back to Genesis. Ishmael is a wild man.
Right.
And the Saudis are not. You ever seen a Saudi princess talk? They're so proper. They use perfect mannerism. They're not wild. But the nature within them, Saudi, even them, that is a fierce, wild man. And most are going to bring it all together. You're going to bring it out. Read on.
And if they shall turn themselves, conspiring together.
Because they're not conspiring together right now. The Arab community, matter of fact, we had camp in New Orleans, and there's an Arab dude, and he has a term he talks about the Saudis. It's like in slavery, there was a field Negro and a house Negro. In the Arab community, they look at the Saudis like they the house guy, the sellouts of the people. And then you got like the Palestinians, the Yemenis, those the ones that stand up against Esau. They look at them like those are for the people. The ones that work with like the Saudis,
Shiites and the Sunnis.
yes, Shiite, Sunni is a Muslim. All of them, they're placid. They're calm. They just want to get along. Okay, we have no problem with the U.S. No, yes, some of our people are bad too. In that day, all that's going to stop. They are going to join together, and nothing's going to stop it. Read on.
Conspiring together in great power.
In great power. They don't have no power. How do you have power? In order for them to conspire together, they're going to have to unite. Their mind unites first. Their resources are going to unite. They're going to have all that together as one. All right? And then they're going to remember, okay, he may have Palestinian Arab nature, origin. This guy's from Yemen. This guy's from Saudi Arabia. No, but we're all Arab. They know who they are. And by the way, Arabs know that they're from Ishmael. Arabs know that they are the sons of Ishmael. Yeah, we know that. We know that. And a lot of them know that we the Israelites.
Right.
Believe it or not. All right, so
to persecute them.
Persecute who? If they're going to persecute the Carmanians, they're going to persecute the Assyrians. Why? What is the Israelis doing right now? Go open up anything that has to do with Middle Eastern news. You're going to see every week hundreds on hundreds of unarmed Palestinians are being slaughtered.
Right.
Read that last part again. And then we're done.
And if they shall turn themselves, conspiring together in great power to persecute them.
Why would they? Because they've been persecuted. This Edomite has persecuted the Arabs. Look what they did in 1948. They initiated the Balfour Declaration in 1917 that said that's going to be the homeland. We're going to repatriate so-called Jewish in that land. And ever since then, they just toppled the Syrian government. Okay, they went and they attacked Lebanon. Okay, they attacked, who else? They attacked Iran. They went, Gulf War I was all about toppling Iraq. They took over Kuwait, made it a puppet government. Now they got military bases. Same thing with Bahrain and same thing with Qatar. All these places, the U.S. does all of that. They oppress, they persecute the Ishmaelites.
And Oman as well, Cap.
Oman as well.
Yes, sir.
I did not know that. Really?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. When I was deployed, I ended up going to Oman as well as Kuwait and Bahrain.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
You hear that? We got a brother in the room. I know, and Officer Mike has been all over the world. So just showing you the power of what Esau has and what he does to all these. He weakens the Arabs, man. And there's going to come a time they are going to rise together. Now, we're not for any of them. Because they were horrible to our people.
Right.
And then after they rise, the Carmanians going to rise. The EU is going to say, man, how would America? We live over here. We getting hit with prices like that. They could hit us in 9 minutes with a missile. They're going to side with Russia. And the people that's going to be left is Israel and the U.S. And that's going to be the end. And Armageddon's going to happen. It's going to go down. So all praise to the Most High. Thanks for sticking with us. We have Lar back attack. And we're almost done, y'all. Shalom. All right? Most High and grace bless.
Yeah, you can tell by my gait that I'm all in. You can tell by my faith that I'm all in. Front line with the truth, I'ma fall in. Even if it's a dead end, going all in. You can tell by the things I'm involved in. I can lose it all for my calling. If I die for the truth, it's a win-win. And going to the end, going all in. That I'm all in. You can tell by my faith that I'm all in. Front line with the truth, I'ma fall in. Even if it's a dead end, going all in. You can tell by the things I'm involved in. I can lose it all for my calling. If I die for the truth, it's a win-win. And going to the end, going all in. Going all in.
Shalom, shalom, Israel. Most High in Christ bless. Lar back attack. You would say, why you say lar back attack? Because the word lard, I know that it's talking about pork. Like tallow is beef fat. Lard is pig fat. Lard is supposed to be a negative connotation. The Israelites are not supposed to be fat. That's like, that doesn't fit. That's like the Israelites are not supposed to eat unclean foods. So here you are, so you are lard back. Yes, you are. The term is lard back attack, is to attack obesity. In order to attack obesity, we have to fix our health. How do we do that? The scriptures tell us what to do. Also, men's conference is coming up right around the corner. A lot of you have had 11 months. 11 months. Many of you went from yellow to green, and you're doing a great job. Many of you did go from red to yellow, and you kind of dragged ass. And some of you are still in the red after 11 months, and you throw your hands up because you refuse to follow basic, consistent, disciplined eating patterns. And that's on you. And there's going to be a consequence. All praises. So, a couple of scriptures, and we're going to close out. Sirach 30:15.
The book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 30 and verse 15.
And you captains who are obese, shame on you. You're setting a horrible example, you big, fat, gutted lard asses. But I will say this. There is several captains that are going to the green, because here's the thing. We can't, as leaders, captains are the managers. We're the managers of the nation. You got your bishops and your deacons. These are like the dignitaries, right? Captains, we got to manage. So we can't manage the nation and help to and move things if we are fat slops. That makes no sense. And you 50s, 60s, all up to 90s. So you're in the yellow, you're in the red after 11 months. That's the example you set for the men below you? Well, I'm going to tell you right now, a lot of the men don't respect you. I'm going to tell you right now. You can't even focus on your health. I'm telling you right now, I wouldn't respect you. But you can fix it. You can fix it. Just apply discipline. Read that.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 30 and verse 15. Health and good estate of body are above all gold.
Because if you don't have good health, you got a bad estate of body. Health and a good estate of body go together. You fix your health, you can have a good estate of your body, right? You can get rid of obesity. You can actually reduce and lower your blood pressure. You can also get rid of diet. We had a brother, shout out to Officer Maccabeus, used to weigh 365 pounds, a big, tall, fat, giant-looking Jabba the Hutt-looking lard ass, huge. That guy was depressed. He lost 125 pounds. You didn't recognize the guy. He came to men's conference 2 years ago, 3 years, something like that. 2 years ago. The man, I said, bring your paperwork. He had paperwork. He had diabetes too. He actually had that, took medication for it. He reversed it. So a lot of the diseases that y'all have, pre-diabetes, diabetes 2, they call insulin resistance, obesity, even overweight is a disorder. All these things, I ain't talking about somebody that's got like a bodybuilder that's got 5% body fat is considered overweight. He's just because he's muscle. I'm talking about you overweight fat lard asses that look like you got a pot belly in your damn camp shirt. You fat back lard asses. Read.
And a strong body above infinite wealth.
So the Lord's saying when we have read it again from the top. Health
and good estate of body.
So health and a good estate of body. Watch this.
Are above all gold.
So if you got gold to the point where you like a sultan. You are a big guy. You're a prince. You're a king. You got so much gold that you got billions of dollars. The Lord said that if you do your health and fix your health and get a good, He said it's better than gold. Because you hear a lot of rich people that on their deathbed. You throughout your lives, you men, you've heard things where a rich man will say, I would give it all up right now just to go back to get my health back. You hear that all the time. So here we are at IUIC. We are the trendsetters in the nation of Israel. Trendsetters in the nation of Israel. Okay? We've evolved in everything that we do. Okay, shout out to the mighty Bishop Nathaniel, the leader of IUIC, okay? And he sets the stage for us to continue to grow as men, as leaders. So we've stepped our game up with international radio shows, international travel, okay? 12 tribes worldwide and then some, okay? To the point where now we got senior officers that are holding down countries. We are moving and shaking. A soldier in IUIC could destroy any pastor on the planet Earth. A men of valor guy, the knowledge that we have. So why, if we're the trendsetters, why would we not fix the one thing that we can control? You can control what you eat. Yes, exercise is important, but what's more important is what you put in your damn body. Go to Sirach 31, verse 15. We're going to close after this. I'm going to give you an example. This is the discipline. I've been doing this for almost, 9 years. Today, I didn't eat anything until about 5:30. No, that's not true. I ate late today. But the point is that if you can govern your impulses with your eating, you can govern your impulses when it comes to sexual desire, when it comes to if you're always angry, you want to fight somebody, or you're at your job and you want to cuss your boss out, you can know that you always are governing yourself. And food is something that we think is not, it's very important. Read on.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 31 and verse 16.
Last scriptures.
Eat as it becometh a man, those things which are set before thee.
You either prepare your food, you go to a restaurant, you order your food, or if you are married, your wife would typically prepare your food. In every one of those options, you have 100% control. You know where you don't got control is if you in prison or if you in boot camp. You ain't got no control then. But most of us are in a situation where we can control that. Read on.
And devour not.
Don't be a damn pig. Shout out to Severus. Read on.
Lest thou be hated.
Right. And that's why you're going to get fat jokes told about you. You're disgusting. Read on. That's it. I think that's it. Oh, yeah, give me that last one.
A very little is sufficient for a man well nurtured.
Thank you. This is the most important one. When it says a very little, it's talking about you do not need to overeat. A lot of us, we overeat processed foods, sugars. Some of you eat 3 to 5 times a day. Think about it. The standard American diet, breakfast, lunch, dinner. Those are what most people eat, right? But then there's things called snacks and desserts. The average person ingests foods 4 to 5 times a day. That is a mistake. It is better to eat one at the most twice a day, at the very most. I strongly think most of you that are fat lard should eat 1 time a day and water fast, and you will lose the weight. Not that you lose the fat, because you got to keep your protein relatively high. That's a whole other story. Read.
And he fetcheth not his wind.
Right, because a lot of you have problems with all type of digestion problems, fetching wind, because you're eating too often. Okay? Give your damn digestive system a break. Give everything in your give it all a break. It will help you. Read.
Short upon his bed.
Right. You can't sleep. You got all kind of problems. Read.
Sound sleep cometh of moderate eating.
You can't sleep. Fix your damn eating. Read.
He riseth early.
Meaning you might only get 4 hours of sleep. With a fat back lard ass takes 17 minutes to get out of bed. You jumping up like Speedy Guns up. Boom. You ready to rock and roll. Because why? You have regulated your diet. Read on.
And his wits are with him.
Right. You're always sharp. A lot of us, sometimes if we in good shape and good health, we may not get a lot of sleep. After we can catch ourselves. You ever seen a fat person go a couple days without sleep? They're horrible. They can't function. They're disgusting. They're wheezing. Can't walk up the steps. Read on.
But the pain of watching.
Right.
And choler.
Come on.
And pain.
Those are all sicknesses. Read.
Of the belly.
Right.
Are with an unsatiable man.
You can't govern your diet. You can't govern what you put into your body. So with that, I'm Captain Shem. We should be right on. We are right on time. With that, Most High and Christ bless. Shalom.
You can tell by my gait that I'm all in. You can tell by my faith that I'm all in. Front line with the truth, I'ma fall in. Even if it's a dead end, going all in. You can tell by the things I'm involved in. I can lose it all for my calling. If I die for the truth, it's a win-win. And going to the end, going all in. Going all in. Yeah. You can tell by my gait that I'm all in. You can tell by my faith that I'm all in. Front line with the truth, I'ma fall in. Even if it's a
Shalom. Yes, we're tired. Yes, it's the late show. But guess what? When you get up in the morning, why don't you share it? Share the link. Shout out to my brothers in England. They're up early. We love y'all over there. It's probably 5 o'clock, 6 in the morning. Appreciate y'all in the UK. Love y'all. Officer Nehemiah. Shout out to that brother. Maybe going visiting the UK, possibly. I don't know. All praise to the Most High. Look, last Booster Club, Micah, please, officer.
Yes, sir.
Listen, donate. Text GIVE to 646-982-3858, or you can click on that PayPal link and donate to the Booster Club. We are doing big things, and we're going to continue to do big things. We cannot do it without you brothers and you sisters, faithful donations, okay? Right. We appreciate y'all very, very much. Listen, I want to give a shout out to the tech team because we are actually we're in a place where it is harder to execute, and these men do a good of a job. So we get on the tech team a lot, just like Bishop used to get on Abiel. Y'all heard of Abiel, infamous Abiel. But it's the hardest job because when one thing goes wrong, you get all the blame, and when everything goes perfect, you might get a pretty good job. But so tech team, they all right, man. So all praise to the Most High. So we get ready to sign off. It's 11:50. With that, we are your hosts. I'm Captain Shem, y'all.
Officer Micah.
Officer Mikael.
Officer Solomon.
With that, brothers and sisters, we say shalom.
Shalom.
Love, even if you don't support it.